Hello guys, and welcome to today's 8.3.5. We're back with another all-path guide and boss sort of breakdown / best counters to use for every path. Just the easiest way to get 100% exploration, because currently the best two ways of getting to Valiant are the Necropolis, which I've not yet attempted but will be very soon, and Act 8 exploration. So I think 8.3.5 is not too challenging. Potentially the bosses are a little bit tricky, but the nodes on there make it really easy to counter each individual one. So what we'll do is we'll speak through all three paths from left to right. We'll start with this left path, beginning with Scarlet Witch Sigil. A weapon node, which you know we love on this channel, or at least they are my favourites. Whenever the defender activates a special attack, they inflict a heal block passive on the attacker for 15 seconds. While the attacker is suffering from a heal block, they also have 200% increased physical vulnerability, basically. To disarm the weapon node, you just have to stun, so just immediately parry stun as soon as you start the fight. Then when the weapon's on cooldown, the attacker's striker inflicts a burst of direct damage equal to 2000%. So you don't actually realise how much this is until you use the striker for the first time. It's a lot. It takes up basically about a fifth, a sixth of the bar of power. That combined with your 200% physical vulnerability passive just do so much damage. You take this path really easily. This does have Doom on, but with that physical vulnerability, he is a little bit easier to take down, I would say. Just bring a Doom counter and a Captain Marvel movie counter, and even she's relatively easy, so I would just say a Doom. And you get this done quite easily. The best way to play this, I think, is to parry stun right from the start. Use your relic. You do have to sort of fight a little bit to get that relic up. But once it's you disarmed it, hit it with the relic or the striker as many times as you possibly can, until it's just about to sort of go on its cycle and go into the Red Fury, and then become the weapon node again for the defender. Just capture it by dodging a special attack. This might happen while it's unarmed. Again, not too much of an issue because you do get that 200% potency physical vulnerability. So if you're bringing in champs who do physical damage, which tends to be quite a lot of champs, definitely most of the skill champs, a lot of cosmics also do it, like someone like Hercules is great for this path. If you bring in class advantage, it really shouldn't be too much of a problem. The only other thing is that every time you do gain a bar of power, the defender gains a regen, but obviously with the weapon node, that completely stops that, and it doesn't become too much of an issue. That's that really for the path. The path's quite simple. I would say that you just bring in class advantage, make sure that they've got a striker on for this path, and you should be absolutely golden. Doom, again, is the challenging one, but other than that, you shouldn't have to worry too much. And then finally, we've got whenever a Mystic attacker activates a striker. This is a new path. I don't know what's got onto me. I've just been for a run, so perhaps I'm a bit tired. We've got whenever a Mystic attacker activates a striker, so again, you're going to need strikers. They steal 30% of the defender's damage. Each time Mystic, and then down with Siphon in Strength, each time a Mystic attacker inflicts Power Drain, Burn or Steal, you gain an Indefinite Fury passive. So just Mystics with relics, or Mystics who usually Power Drain, Burn or Steal, or both, and both will just help you get the Furies quicker. There are lots of good champs for this. The defender does gain an indefinite energized passive every 10 seconds, so this is a reason why you really want to bring in champs who are key for this, because they are they're gaining power sort of throughout the entire fight, so it is something that is pretty major in on the path, so you will need those Mystic attackers. These can be champs: Doom, Ebony Maw, the Hood. I'm trying to think of other power steals or burns. off the top of my head, I can't think. I'm sure if I just went and quickly looked at the Mystics, you'd find quite a lot just in my deck. So yeah, Ebony Maw, Kindred can power Steel, Doom again, Mephisto can power burn. Then you've got Spider-Man. We've also got Longshot. That's the one I was thinking of. That was taking me ages to think of. Black Widow, Clairvoyant. So even Mangog, or however you say that guy's name, or that thing's name. Yeah, so you've got quite a few champs. The only tricky one is Cersei, so bring in a counter for her, just because that regen can be quite frustrating and do a lot of damage. But other than that, I'd say you're quite alright on this path. There are quite a few. If you've got one Doom, he'll just solo the whole path, so you don't really have to worry about that. And the nodes are quite easy. So that's that path. And then finally, the path beginning with Rocket Raccoon. Whenever a cosmic attacker inflicts a damaging debuff, they also inflict an armor break. The max is 4. The armor break debuffs inflicted on the defender are 25% more potent, so you're able to do that much, reduce their armor resistance by that much and do more damage. The defender also takes 50% less damage if they don't have an armor break. When inflicted the defender with a damaging debuff, the attacker then gains a true accuracy. This is really important for Mixed Master, because if you try and do the same basic attack twice in a row, they do have a 100% chance to evade the attack. Great champions for this are champs like Venom. Gore is really good for this. Hercules can work if you choose not to do the same basic attack in a row, but this just can be really, really frustrating. So yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend. CGR can with the Incinerates, Hyperion can with the Incinerates, Vision Arcus, King Groot with the poison. You do Hulkling obviously can. You've got Adam Warlock, Gladiator. All those champs who do damage and debuffs, they will work. You can bring in champs who don't, who are also who can prevent evade, but then it just doesn't lean into the node set, and it will make it that little bit trickier for you. That path again is relatively easy. Other than Mysterio there, you've really got no one to worry about too much. Bring in your Cosmics who do damage and debuffs, and you should be absolutely fine. And then now we'll jump on to the bosses. Got 3 quite good defenders there, and that's what makes them so difficult. Havoc, you're going to need to have somebody with armor ups in the fight. But we'll start with Havoc anyway, because he's right there. So whenever the attacker is you're inflicted with an armor break, he gains an armor up. Whenever the defender is inflicted with an armor break, you gain an armor up. So you can either bring in champions who have armor up anyway, and that helps you for Havoc. But you'll see as we go on, Cosmic champions do receive 40% plus base attack. So if you can bring in those champs like Silver Surfer or CGR, Captain Marvel movie, who have armor breaks, even Venom, then you're armor breaking him but getting an armor up on yourself. That then stops his can't think what they're called, like the seismic blast or whatever it is, from going off and doing quite a lot of damage, and it makes this fight a bit of a cakewalk, really. Not the nodes, as I sort of mentioned. If he has an armor up buff, he does become passively unblockable. That's probably the only issue with this fight. But yeah, cosmic attackers, tech attackers do reduce, have a 40% minus 40% base attack reduction, so they're not going to be too helpful. So you want to go with cosmic attackers or mystic attackers. You can bring in, say, Kushala for this fight, because she can block unblockables, but she won't get that armor up because she doesn't have armor break. So it's sort of that weird give and take where I'd probably just go with the cosmic attackers who can armor break. So that makes Havoc not that difficult. You just bring in like Herc with Captain America synergy. I remember using that for the Warlock fight in Acceptance of Pain, or I can't think what it's called now, but that long quest, and he was useful for that Warlock. But yeah, cosmic attackers are really the key here. Quicksilver, quite a tricky fight actually. When you purify debuff, they gain a fury
passive. If you intercept them, all the Fury passes are removed, and he's afflicted with a degen debuff. So you can bring in people who purify buffs and then intercept to make sure that, you know, that Quicksilver's taking a lot of degen damage. Someone like Elsa Bloodstone, Shang-Chi, Kingpin, Mole Man, Nick Fury when he's got enough power. Or you can bring in your usual counter, say a Kate Bishop, for example, and just continue to knock him down, and then all of the whiplashes and other debuffs he's putting on you are just become purified. When you intercept, you do gain guaranteed crits for 7 seconds, and the duration of your buffs are reduced by 5 seconds. But if you're a robot, they suffer 70% reduced ability accuracy. And every 5 hits in the combo meter creates a steadfast to allow you to basically block that SP1 when it goes unblockable. Quite an easy fight, really. If you've got like a Shang-Chi, a Kate Bishop, Nick Fury, Elsa even, Kingpin, those top tier champs work really nicely for this Quicksilver. You can do it 2 different ways, as I said. You can purify and intercept, or you can just knock them down a lot of times. And finally, Bishop may be the easiest boss, dependent on the champs you've got. I do think everyone tends to have a ranked up Herc, and if you do, then the Havoc's not too difficult. If you've got just any Captain America Infinity War to bring in for the synergy, but the Bishop's still not horrendous. So you do need to keep an eye on the root timer, just so you get away from it and you don't become rooted. And you root him instead, makes it a little bit easier. Whenever he activates a special attack, he gains a burnout charge, increasing his attack by 10%. When he has 10 or more, 10 are removed, and he's passively power locked for 10 seconds. Whenever you activate deck, or whenever you dex a hit, his special attacks, he gains an additional burnout. So you can keep dexing. I didn't think this was too much of an issue. Like, you end up not really noticing the burnouts too much, the passive lock. If you get hit, obviously, you will have a lot of damage done to you. When he's suffering from a heal block or a power lock, you gain 100% combat power rate. But when it expires, he gains a non-stacking debuff immunity. Strikers deal a burst of extra 200% damage, and that's really it for the nodes. Good counters are your usual Bishop counters. I liked Kitty Pryde for this because she just phased through his attacks, and it was, his SP1 was putting Incinerates on, which was increasing her damage. Just a really, really great champ. I also bought an Iron Doom. He worked nicely to remove the prowesses. You can bring in a Mega Sentinel, Lady Deathstrike I've recently got, and she's quite a nice champ to use. Anyone who's really Incinerate immune in the tech class works quite nicely. I'm sure you could probably even use Human Torch, but I probably wouldn't. The Iron Man buff is so good that it just absolutely kills this Bishop, like flies through him. So I think that's also another option. That will do it for the video. Quite a short one because I don't think the paths are too tricky. I think I've given you guys enough information to go ahead and tackle each one and finish the bosses off with ease. If you're enjoying these videos, as I said at the start, please leave a like and subscribe. Check out that Act Date Exploration video for all the rewards and maybe get you guys excited to do the 100% yourself. And check out 8.3.6 when it comes soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later. Goodbye.